Today, we are going to learn about 4 life lessons that you can learn from mosaics. That's right, broken pieces. Don't move. Aloha, amazing peeps. Thank you so much for tuning in for another episode of Healing by Heidi. Today you can call me Healing Heidi or Creative Heidi, whatever floats your boat. And I want to talk to you today about mosaics and four life lessons you can learn from mosaics, the broken pieces of life. But before we get started, do me a favor and down in the comments section, put down if you are watching this live or as a replay. If you're watching it live, please put down #live. And if you're watching it as a replay, please put down #replay. All right, that's super helpful to me. Really appreciate it. All right. So coming back to our topic for today, mosaics and 4 life lessons. So some of you have been following my progress on this mosaic that I am making in memory, in honor of my dad who passed away several years ago. And people say, well, where are you at? Have you finished yet? What's your progress? So it's a very slow process for me. This is something that I don't do full time. When I need to take a break from my other work, this is super, super helpful for me to have a creative outlet, a place to go to, and a place to remember Dad and to think about things in a very, very different way. And so I'm going to show you where I'm at right now with it. And I don't want you to pass out because some of you may say, oh my God, what did you do to the background? You made it look like a circus. But I'm going to show you my process while I'm talking to you about these 4 life lessons that you can learn. Okay, let's see if I remember how to turn the camera around. Okay, hold on, here we go. Did this work? Let's see. Hold on, not giving up yet. Okay, here we go. So here is the face. This is face looking up and hand on the heart. And if you look at it a little further up, don't get freaked out by the background. It's very colorful at the moment. It's going to change enormously. I'm just scanning you down so you can see what is here now. And actually, this piece, which is about, again, the loss of my dad and just how I miss him, he was a super creative, artistic man, was based on this photo that I took of myself to get the pose and to kind of reflect what I was feeling at the time. Let's see if I can turn it around again. Hold on. There we go. Okay. Still learning this process. So a few things that I wanted to share with you about this, not just this is where I'm at the moment, and I will explain that. But as far as life lessons, you think, well, how am I going to learn a life lesson from this? I think you can learn a life lesson from anything. But the first thing that I want to talk with you about today, number 1, is just the whole idea of mosaics and the fact that they are made from broken pieces. And broken pieces that you put together. And all of us have experienced pain and difficulty in our lives, and sometimes it feels like it's really hard to pull our stuff together and move forward. So for me, yoga is certainly super, super helpful in terms of helping me deal with difficulties, but also creative outlets like mosaics are really important to me as well. The creativity is something that's important to foster, I think, in everybody, and it may manifest in different ways for everybody. Some people do visual art, some people do completely different things. But for me, this medium of mosaics and working with broken pieces has been super powerful for me. I've been doing it since, I guess, around year 2000 or so. And I collect broken pieces of things. I have boxes and boxes and shelves of broken pieces of things. And sometimes people give them to me as a gift. I have a, let me see if I could show you this here. Someone brought this to me because they said, oh, maybe you can do something with it. So I have people oftentimes, like for my birthday, they're like, well, here, happy birthday, here's a broken item. Maybe you can use it. But for me, the beauty of this is that each piece has a story. And then you put these things together in a way that it gives it new life. And it really ties into the way you live your life and the way you take these broken pieces of your life. When you go through these challenges and you put things together, or just different segments, you bring them together with you, with the essence of who you are. So I am going to, let's see if I can turn this around again and just show you, I'll point out a couple of these pieces here. So some of these, this for example is from a teacup. Some of these pieces are from the water, under the water near where my parents used to have a house in upstate New York. And I literally found them embedded into the sand by a pond that is in their area. These were historic pieces of ceramic from like the 1850s or so, some of these. And then others are from things I picked up at yard sales or other places like that. But a lot of these are from that underwater area. And then I try to use areas that have contours and shapes that correspond to the different body parts, this being the elbow, this being part of the shoulder. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it really inspires me and challenges me. The hair was made from broken pieces of plates that I bought from a ceramicist in Vermont many, many years ago, and I collected them not knowing what I was going to do with them, but I finally found a purpose for them. So broken pieces, putting them together, not only in a creative sense can it be healing and wonderful, and you end up with a piece of art that is truly yours, but again, that idea of each piece having a story, you kind of know where it's from, you pull them together in this new way. It's like recycling in a super creative way. And another lesson, number 2, these are not in any particular order, but lesson number 2 is that it's okay to step away when something is hard and then come back to it. Unless you're under a time constraint and you have to finish something immediately or within a specific time limitation. But it's okay to step away, and sometimes that gives you perspective on things and makes it easier for you to be able to handle a challenge that you are dealing with. So in life in general, whether it's difficulty balancing my checkbook or doing certain bill paying, whatever it is that I'm doing, it's important sometimes to be able to just step away, whether it's for a few minutes or a few days, and sometimes it's longer than that. But then you can come back with new eyes, come back with a new perspective. And so again, with this piece, this is something that I've been working on for several years now, and I keep coming back to it. And sometimes I'm pausing because I'm trying to figure out what is my next step going to be. This has been through many iterations, many versions already before I glued it down. And coming up with the background, which you saw a little bit, I'll show you again, is really, really hard for me because I want it to work, but I don't know what I want it to be. I come into this every time as a challenge, and sometimes I really have to step away. And I tried probably 20 different backgrounds before I came up with this. So it's okay when you're having a challenge in your life, whether it's an art project or business project or a family matter, sometimes to take that time. Maybe it's just closing your eyes, taking a deep breath, taking that breath away to allow you to come back in with a renewed way to deal with this, a new perspective. Another idea I wanted to share with you that I have learned from this, number 3, is that patience. This is a really good lesson in patience, and I think it also combines with that idea of stepping away and coming back to things. But there are things, for example, a math problem or a bill, this is the amount you have to pay, you pay that amount, theoretically, normally speaking. But when you're doing something creative, whether it's visual art or writing or music production or many, many other things, you can't just add 2 and 2 and get the 4. You don't know when that inspiration is going to hit you. Whether you are doing photography and you're looking for that element that you want to capture, that really speaks to you in that moment. You don't know when you're going to see it unless you're staging it, which is okay too. But sometimes you have to wait and be patient with yourself and not push yourself into creating that creative end product. Sometimes you have to really be patient and go through the process of taking that journey. So the fourth thing that I wanted to talk with you about today, the fourth and final thing that I wanted to talk with you about, is just the idea of testing things out, trying things out. And before we do that, before we talk about number 4, I just want to invite you, if you haven't joined my Facebook group yet, I would love you to check it out. I talk about yoga and meditation, healthy lifestyle, finding work-life balance. If that's of interest to you, I want you to go to, what did I put it at? Hold on, I have it written down here somewhere. Oh, group.heidifb.com. So it's group.heidifb, like Facebook.com. Okay, and I'm also starting up a YouTube channel, so if you want to check that out, there's not much there yet, but there will be more soon. Definitely be the first to get in on this fun adventure. You can go to subscribe at followheidi.com, subscribe at followheidi.com. So definitely check those out. Okay, number 4, testing things out. Sometimes you don't know what the answer is going to be. Again, you know that 2 + 2 is going to be 4. But again, in a process like this, where it is not so structured, a creative process, a thought process, sometimes you have to go through different iterations, different versions of something before you come up with what works for you. And with what works for you in a creative process, it's hard to determine. How do you know when you've reached that place? There are people who do music production, like my son, for example, and he will work on his compositions, on the music that he's producing, just keep working on it. Hard to know when he's reached that place where it is right, where it is done. And for me, I have to wait till I feel it in my gut. Like I look, and does it seem right? And then at some point I just know that that's the right thing. It's not really a clear answer, but this is how it works for me. So in the case of the project that I'm working on, that I'm sharing with you today, my mosaic, I want to show you what I'm doing with the background, because that's the stage that I'm up to now. And the background is always a little scary because it has to be integrated. I want the pieces to be integrated, the background and the figure, but I want it to have its own character as well. Okay, so let's turn it around again, and we'll see if I can do this here. Little button is so small. Okay, you have this very chaotic creative space around me here. Okay, so here we go. Here we have the face. If you can see, it's looking up. Can you see that? I hope you can see that. And then again, here we have the hand on the heart, the elbow is up. And then down here, the other arm is behind me, and you see all of these polka dots. You're like, what is the story with all of the polka dots? So this is what inspired me to do this talk today. And in order to come up with this, which is very much at the beginning stages of the process, I had to do some testing. So I'm going to show you some of the boards that I was testing on. And this is, I don't know if you can see the different colors and the texture. I was testing that out, testing this out. Do you see that? Can you see that there are little bits of color? This is eventually what this is going to look like, theoretically. We'll see. It's applied in different layers. It's a whole technique that I've been working on. But eventually, probably not with the white, I'm probably going to end up with this dark blue with the colors showing through. you can see where the colors are here, and you can see that I've just begun to put down a little bit of blue over it. I wanted to just show you a few other examples of testing, because sometimes, they say testing makes perfect, right? Or practice makes perfect. So in this case, I've made a variety of different boards, which someone cut for me, where I have the colors in the background. I'm experimenting with different textures, with the shapes and sizes of the color, with the density, the thickness, the application of the different medium, and with the overlay colors to see what just feels right to me. And if it doesn't work, I go on to something else. So this board here probably shows you a little more clearly. You can see the dots there, and then you see what I think this is going to look like. Theoretically, when I'm done, that's what this background here is going to look like. Something like this. So when I am applying the paint, I'll show you. Let's see if I can do this while I'm holding the phone here. I'll just keep it. I'm kind of doing a dry stroke. And then I am literally, can I do this like this? Let's see. Just applying it really lightly over this in different layers. And then we'll see eventually how it turns out. So in conclusion, oops, I'm sitting on my boards. In conclusion, I just want to summarize what we were talking about today. And we're talking about mosaics, literally, and also in other senses of the word. And the 4 life benefits, 4 life lessons that I was trying to share with you that I have gained from doing these mosaics. And the first one, I'm going to read, I have my little notes here. Just the idea of putting together pieces. In your life, you put together pieces. In the artwork, you can put together pieces. It's very healing in that respect. And then the second one was being able to step away and then come back when you need to do that, whether it's an art project or you're arguing with somebody, you're having a difference of opinion, you can't balance your checkbook. Sometimes it really helps to just step back and then step back in again and see if you can see it more clearly. Sometimes the answer is right there, but you don't know it until you come back. And then number 3 is the idea of patience. Super important. Patience with yourself. Sometimes if you are patient, the answer will show itself. It will reveal itself in time. You can't always force it. Some things are not as simple as 2 + 2 = 4. And the last thing that I shared with you, number 4, was just about the idea of testing things out. It doesn't mean that the first draft has to be perfect. It doesn't mean that the 10th version is going to be the right one. That if you have the luxury with what you're doing to try things out, not to be super critical. I don't mean it in that way. I don't want you to think that if you're doing something like a video and you make a grammatical error, you have to do it again. No, none of us are perfect. None of these are going to be perfect. But it's okay to try out different versions and see what affects you, what you feel in your heart, what you feel in your gut that seems like the right way to do it. So for me, this applies to yoga as well. I thought yoga was really boring and stupid until I found a type, which was this vinyasa, power vinyasa yoga at this one specific studio that just moved me. And you can't say, okay, today I'm going to find the thing that's going to be an epiphany for me. Today I'm going to find the thing that's going to change my life. Sometimes it just happens, So mosaics have been like that for me. So if you want to know more about what I am doing, by all means, please subscribe to me on my new YouTube channel. I know it's pretty empty at the moment, but there's going to be more there. And you can do that by going to subscribe.followheidi.com, subscribe.followheidi.com. And if you want to join my Facebook group, where we learn about yoga, healthy lifestyle, meditation, finding that good work-life balance through videos and topics that you may not normally see, like this, then by all means check out my Facebook group. Please join, and you will find that at group.followheidi.com. group.heidifb.com, group.heidifb.com. So I hope you found that entertaining, and if you stuck around, I hope you will leave a comment about something that you do in your life that is creative. It doesn't matter what field it's in, but I would like to know about you. Hope to hear from you soon. Hope to see you soon. Ciao for now. Thank you.